All right, we are watching this tropical storm closely as it moves across the Caribbean. Expected to have an impact on South Florida, but perhaps not a direct hit. And we are keeping an eye on that, of course, the track, which is just offshore at this point. And it's a little over 700 miles away from South Florida, and it continues to move toward the northwest, roughly 15 to 20 miles an hour. With each advisory right now 18 miles an hour. The wind's at 60. A forecast track taking it into the Bahamas and intensifying it. It's in a very favorable weather environment, reasonably favorable weather environment through Friday and Friday night. And that's why we have a Category 1 hurricane forecast around West End, Grand Bahama. That's 8 p.m. on Saturday. It'll be one of its closest approaches to us. Palm Beach County and then the Treasure Coast, perhaps a little bit closer. The error cone, we're still in the error cone, and we may drop out later tomorrow night or early Saturday as the cone continues to shrink and as it gets closer, but eventually up the East Coast after that and weakening as it encounters some pretty significant wind shear. The tracks and model guidance, there are a couple that take a little jog. Well, one in particular, the H-Wharf, takes a jog back toward the coastline. The other's in very good agreement that it stays offshore at this point. Then we could see subtle changes to the west or the east. Right now we have a hurricane warning for the northern Bahamas, and we have a tropical storm watch in yellow here. That is for all our entire viewing area. We certainly see a tropical storm warning issued at some point, especially if the track gets a little closer to us. But at this point, the strongest winds and the heaviest rain appear to stay offshore through Saturday. There's 5:30 Saturday, brushing along the coastline. Hurricane force winds in red there, well off the coastline, small area, but the wind field continues to expand as we get into Saturday night and some very gusty winds. We have about a 50-50 chance of seeing tropical storm force winds along the coastline. That's 39 miles an hour stronger, so they're not even guaranteed. And as far as the weather conditions, going downhill a little bit on Saturday and through early Sunday, and then starting to improve after that. And here's a breakdown from James on exactly what we can expect through the weekend.
All right, yes, and here we go. We're going to track this here. This is on our brand new high-resolution model here we have. And you can see as we get into Saturday morning, this is when the first little band comes in. Now, it's not going to be solid like this. It'll just be pieces of a squall that moves on through. In that, we could see some gusty winds, but this is just the beginning, so it's not going to be a solid thing. As we get later in the day, notice it fills in quite a bit here, and we'll have gustier winds. The storm just starting to enter the screen here, so we'll get kind of squall line after line that will move on through, and in between it'll be okay. And then as we go towards the nighttime hours, so this is the overnight, that's when it's closest to the Treasure Coast, and the worst weather for you will be there. Then as we get into Sunday, this moves away, but we have to keep an eye on this little tail that may hang around here in South Florida. Some of the models keep it south into Miami-Dade, some keep it up into our area, so we'll have to see. That could dump some, copious amounts of rain with that, but the storm will be pulling away, so things all in all will be starting to settle down. Now, how much rain are we going to get? Now, this is how much is estimated by this model. It's not a ton. It's about an inch, inch and a half, but we could see upwards up to 4 or 5 inches in the worst case scenario if it gets a little bit closer or those banding features may set up across the area. So to recap, we'll see what's going on here. The effects that we're going to see, the wind, could see 30, 40 mile per hour winds, higher in some of those squalls and gusts that come on through. Rain 2 to 5 inches. Could see a little bit of a storm surge and also high surf out there, and seas offshore are going to be about 15 to 20 feet. We could see some coastal beach erosion. Tornado threat, not high, but not zero either. We're on the weaker side of the storm. The tornadic side of the storm will be the right side of the storm. That's going to be off into the Bahamas, so we're not going to see it quite that. We'll be able to narrow that down a little bit here by tomorrow. Now, tonight will be fine, and then tomorrow and the next 7 days, here's what we're looking at. High temperatures generally near 90. Tomorrow's a quiet day. Saturday, Sunday, spilling over with the moisture, but not the storm, on into Monday and Tuesday still with higher rain chances.